What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing Batman Arkham City. Now, we've reviewed Arkham Asylum, so if you've not checked out that video, please do. I'm going to be reviewing all of the Arkham games, leading to, hopefully, the eventual announcement, right, of the new Batman Arkham game. So I'm going in the order that the games were released, not chronologically like the time periods that these games are. So right now is City. Next up would be Origins. We'll do that in a couple more weeks, and then obviously Night after that. And Arkham City, I said it before in other videos, but now I get to talk about it kind of in depth. And this isn't a review where I'm going to give it like a score. It's more or less me just talking about my experience with it and what makes it really such an amazing game. Arkham City, as I've said in past videos, truly is, I think, the best Batman game ever made, and also probably the best superhero game ever made. The Spider-Man game that came out in 2018 last year was phenomenal. It's so much fun. I think it's very, very good. I'd say, though, Arkham City has a leg up. I honestly would say Arkham Asylum has a leg up as well. I think Spider-Man, in terms of its whole trilogy, could end up being better than the Arkham trilogy. But for right now, you know, that's not to be said until that actually happens. And we will be covering Spider-Man. I don't know how many people are kind of into both. I don't know how many people are offended by me saying that I like Spider-Man. But I do love it, and we will be covering the next Spider-Man game as well. Arkham City, I've said, is the best one, but it is not my favorite one. My favorite Arkham game is Arkham Asylum, and we talked about that in the review, that game just captured such magic, like, you know, in a bottle. It just did such a phenomenal job at everything, and I truly do love that game. And then Arkham City came out, and, you know, to be honest with you, I didn't really know what to expect. I wasn't all that still into, and I think that's generally the approach a lot of people, I think, took is, you know, we got Asylum, and we didn't really know what we were going to be signing up for City. You know, we saw that first trailer where it's kind of showing, like, the outside, it circles back in, and Joker's laughing with Harley, and he's very sick, and he's coughing a lot, but, you know, he's having fun, he's laughing. And that was such an amazing trailer, and really all the Batman trailers, I think, the CG trailers, the you know, a visual, any kind of trailer that they do. You know, some trailers look a little bit more real than others. All of them look absolutely phenomenal, and that was that one. We also, I think when it was first announced, right, we got that Hugo Strange kind of monologue, basically saying, like, hey, he knows who Batman is. And then when we actually got to play the game, you know, it took me a while to really like this game, because obviously this was the first game that tried to open it up. And if you play it now, I think what it does the best, and I saw this in the comments, I thought this is I don't know who said it, so I can't give you credit, but if you're here, hello. A person said, like, the strength of every single game, and the strength of City is the story, and I do agree with that, and the strength of Night is the gameplay, and I would agree with that too. I think each game, and I do believe this, each game has its own strength, its own thing that kind of makes it top of the line. And for Arkham City, I don't think it's the traversal. I don't think it's the actual city aspect that makes it so good. It's really good. The gameplay has always been solid. It took some steps up from Arkham Asylum, but to be honest with you, I also feel like in some ways it took steps back. It eliminated those like challenge rooms, I believe. But one of the things, and this could just be, again, like a personal preference for me, is Arkham Asylum, well, yeah, you play it now and it's like, wow, the gadgets, like, you can't really do much. He's very stiff. You know, they haven't really added a lot to the combat yet, right? Like, it's very good. I think the combat in Arkham Asylum still is very strong. But you look at it, like, say, in Night, and it's just a thousand times better. Arkham City does take some steps, especially with just the combat, like the fist to fist, you know, hand to hand combat. It does a lot better. But, you know, the whole kind of like swinging through the gargoyles, like in one room and kind of planning your attack, I think Arkham City doesn't have it as much, or doesn't capture it as well as Arkham Asylum does. And I think that's just because City obviously was trying to expand it. It was saying, okay, here is a bigger playground. Here you can glide now, which you could in Arkham Asylum, but obviously you were very limited because there wasn't a lot of room to move around. But let's see how much stuff we could get people doing in Arkham City. Let's start to introduce what side missions would be like. Obviously, we got to play as Catwoman a little bit. The Riddler challenges, now we can kind of spread them out amongst the whole city. Now he calls you, right, like on the phones. Even or is that Zaz? Zaz does that. So there's a lot of things that they tried to do in Arkham City, that definitely paid off. And again, I think for what it is the best game. I think the storytelling is phenomenal. I think the use of the different villains is the best way that they've done it. Now, I actually really did like the kind of like the side mission wheel in Arkham Knight, all of the different villains, the kind of like percentages that like, hey, you're not done, or like you're 52% done with this side quest, right? I did like that in Arkham Knight. I actually thought that was pretty good. I thought that they had some really interesting ways of doing villains, like Firefly, even people like Two-Face and Penguin, trying to have them all be pretty unique in their own way, or have their own kind of brand, like what you're going to do to take them out. They did it really well, and Arkham City was the game that kind of started that, again, like with Zsasz calling you, with Riddler having its different things. And so while I don't think it did like the side mission villain stuff, I mean, obviously we got Mr. Freeze as well, which will go down, and I've said it before, like I really love that boss fight. I think that boss fight's really good, but that's part, I believe, of the main story. So what Arkham City did, in my opinion, is starting to introduce, obviously, the open world and the multiple villains with, like, the side missions kind of thing. It didn't do that all that amazing, but what it did do is the main story. The main story is phenomenal. I think it's the best main story that any of the games told. I think Arkham Asylum will still always be the most special to me, but I think for what it is, Arkham City has the best overall story. I really felt Hugo Strange was an actual threatening villain, and I thought Scarecrow was in Night as well. It's just, again, like we've talked about, and we'll talk about in the Night review, he gets pushed off so easily where he's just not even in a lot of the game, like, at all. He's barely in the game if you think about it, and that's really a disappointment because they had something going. Strange isn't in the game, same thing kind of with Scarecrow. He's not in the game all that much. Really, Joker, with the fact that he's sick and the fact that he's getting more sick and he's dying, and like, there's kind of like a worry there. That really is the driving force. Now, Joker was an amazing villain in Asylum, but I think in City, he's just the absolute best. Mark Hamill obviously did such a phenomenal job, but the Joker really was phenomenal. And obviously having like the League of Assassins as well, or the League of Shadows, they were super awesome. Having that whole with Ra's al Ghul, or however didn't he say Raish? He would keep saying that. That was really cool. I liked everything they did with that as well. Just super solid. All the characters were solid. Everything they were trying to do with the story was solid. And then, in my opinion, I mean, that twist at the end, well, when you think the Joker is actually healed, although there's hints all along that it's not actually him, and people, found that kind of afterwards. I think that is just the most clever planning, possible. I think that's just amazing. And then what actually happens at the end of the story is truly phenomenal. A huge twist. I never honestly thought that they would do it. I mean, I know that when we saw, again, like when you see that trailer where he's sick and he's laughing, but he's also like coughing and stuff. Yeah, and even throughout the game, I mean, yeah, there is this kind of thought, or there is this kind of impending thing where it's like, hey, like, he could die, like, if we don't do this, and if Batman doesn't actually help him out, because he kind of needs to help him out, which he did do, he was going to do it at the end, if he didn't do it, Joker would end up dying, and I just think that I wanted to remain cautiously optimistic that, like, he was going to make it. And I didn't really think that Rocksteady was going to kill him. And then, obviously, the end of the game happened, and they did it. And I think that was just such a huge twist. Although, and we've made videos about this before, the ending is also one of the more frustrating things of all time. I'll quickly recap, because maybe more people are going to watch this than watch that video. I don't understand how the ending makes any sense. I've talked about it before in a video about the ending of this game. Batman flies back when the Joker, or when the thing falls into the Lazarus pit and then it explodes. Batman has the serum. I believe he has it in his right hand. I can't actually remember right now, but he has it in one of his hands as he's flying backwards. When he wakes up, it's in his other hand. And also, why in God's name would Joker stab him in the arm that has the serum in it, leading to Batman dropping it and breaking it on the floor? I do not understand that logic. Joker is a smarter guy than that. But just more than anything, the literal fact that Batman has it in one hand when he's flying back, and then when he wakes up, he has it in his other hand. I think that is either the biggest mistake of any, like, animation department ever. I truly do believe that, because that is so big. Or... and again, because like Arkham Knight, Joker, like the Easter egg is Joker is alive before he gets cremated. He wakes up and he starts laughing and then he dies. So like did he actually survive Arkham City and he was just sleeping or like in a coma or whatever like the whole time? Like, is that what happened? Because the Easter egg is, when you restart after you complete the game or you be in the hardest difficulty or whatever that thing is and you replay it, like Joker is alive. So like, did he survive Arkham City? But it makes me so upset because leading into Arkham Knight, I truly did believe the Joker was alive and he would come back and he was planning something all along. And the ending of Arkham City did that to me. So I don't think that was the most like thought out. I think somebody either messed up or it was purposely done and they never really felt like explaining it after the fact. Really, really honestly annoying to me. But I will stand by, again, the game as a whole. I don't think it does anything like that story. I'll say the story. The story is its strongest thing. The main story is its strongest thing it's got going for it. It does it better, I'd say, than any of the other games. Pretty much everything else, though, is not as good, I would say, as any of the other games, but it's all solid and it's all working to kind of expand the game. And when you put all of that stuff together, I do think it becomes the best game. It's just, I think, an overall better game than Asylum, even though Asylum is more special. And, I love Night. I really do. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people say. I think it's very easy to say it's better than Night, just because the biggest thing with Night that it had going for it was how fluid the game was and how well the game worked. I think gameplay-wise, Night just destroyed it and is easily the best, like, functioning, not on PC, but the best functioning Batman game, like, ever, okay? In terms of the story, in terms of the decision-making, in terms of stuff like that, yeah, there were a lot of mistakes to it. But, I think Arkham City, for what it is, I don't think any of these games are literal perfection games, master, like nothing's wrong with them. Asylum is very, very special to me, but even I can say, okay, I mean, there are some problems with it here and there. I don't think any of them are just apps, like you could say there's nothing wrong with them. But I think City overall just has the best package to it. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What did you think about Arkham City? What would your review of it be? What would your ranking of it be? I am going to be doing that as well. Once we're done reviewing all of them, I would like to rank the Arkham games as well. Although, if you can kind of tell from what I'm saying in these reviews, you could probably gather what I would rank them already, but I'll have a specific video for that as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys are subscribed, hitting that like button, sharing, commenting, all that good stuff. We did a video yesterday. We're also going to be doing a video tomorrow talking about Batman Beyond. Very, very different topic, and I'm very, very excited to do it. And then we'll be having another video as well on Friday, so that is what you guys can expect for the rest of the week. So thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you on tomorrow's video.